AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Toplin. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ari Temkin from Big 12 Radio will be here in a dozen minutes from right now. Give us the latest on the Sorsby stuff. If you missed it, hour 1, we had attorney Jeff Watson from Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys here with us, kind of giving us the legal perspective on the latest. If you missed it, the Big 12 is suing Texas Tech and the Texas State Attorney General. They're also looking in state court for an expedited, basically an injunction against the injunction, whatever. Jeff gave all the legalese. You can go back and catch that on demand if you missed it. AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Jay Johnson at it again.
Another one.
I mean, it's really impressive, man. He is taking a wrecking ball to this portal cycle. And someone asked me over the weekend what's different from a year ago where they had one of the top portal classes. And that's a very fair question. And maybe at the risk of oversimplifying it, this is very clearly a quality over quantity approach that they're taking. They've only added 5 guys. But all 5 that they've added are arguably the best in the portal at the thing they do. Bino Waters is the number 1 player in the portal. On 3 has Landon Hood as the number 3 player in the portal. Cade Curlin has played in 190 career baseball games at the University of Florida. He's going to be your second baseman. You're Dawson Park. This staff felt was the best defensive infielder in the portal, and he was going to be the shortstop. Had Stephen Milam gone pro, well, with Milam coming back, Dawson Park's going to be your third baseman. Even if he doesn't hit a lick, the left side of your infield is Milam and Dawson Park. And then you got Cade Curlin at second, who's seen everything. Really impressive. And then over the weekend, they had Jason Wachs. Very candidly, I was sitting at dinner before we went to No Doubt on Saturday. I went to dinner at Scarpetta in the Cosmopolitan. And I'm sitting there, and I got pinged that Wachs committed. And he didn't announce it until Sunday morning. So I put out a very intentionally vague but leading tweet that I'm sure most people assumed correctly meant that Wachs had committed. What I didn't mention in that tweet, I think, is even more impressive, which is that Jay Johnson got his behind on a plane and flew up to Cape Cod to go see Wachs, and that's where he landed him. And it just underscores again, number 1, just the maniacal nature in which Jay Johnson attacks the portal and recruiting and everything about competing for a championship. It's just the thing that matters most to him. So if you were wondering, like, missing the postseason last year, how would Jay Johnson react? Well, this is a pretty good indicator, right? I know it's also been this conversation about, not making it to Omaha. Does it help in the portal cycle? Well, this is a pretty good indicator. I was actually having a conversation with someone today, let's call it close to Ole Miss. And Ole Miss, of course, was in the College World Series. One of the assistants at Ole Miss between their games this year in Omaha flew home to host a recruit and then flew back to Omaha to coach in the College World Series. That is the disadvantage of of being in the College World Series. I don't know how you fix the calendar, but in any event, the point is, let me not lose sight of it, which is Jay Johnson wanted Jason Wachs. Wachs took a visit to LSU, left without committing. He's from the state of Florida. His dad has ties to the University of Florida. He visited Florida, Florida State, Miami, Texas, Tennessee. Jay Johnson wanted him, prioritized him, and ultimately got him, which is great news. And I think it does sort of underscore the quality over quantity approach in this year's cycle. Just for example, think about this past season, right? You added 4 infielders. 3 of them were effectively the same guy. Caraway, Dardar, Simpson. None of the 3 were plus defenders. All were average to poor defenders. You brought them in because of their power. That's why you brought them here. You were trying to replace Jones and Fry's power numbers, and so you went out at those guys, and then York as well. Well, none of them translated offensively, and they were all bad defensively. So, in turn, they gave you nothing, which is why you ended up with a freshman in Ruckert at second base and Pearson hitting .250 playing third. That's not a great option. What they've done in this portal cycle is they've said, we're not taking a risk. Everybody they've added are plus defenders. Wachs, Waters, Park, Kurland, you got Milam coming back. Everywhere, you are good defensively. So even if Dawson Park coming in from Texas State doesn't translate offensively, he struggles with SEC pitching. Okay, you've got an elite glove on the left side of your infield next to Stephen Milam. That part, even look, there were times this year where Milam ended up hitting 296, 297, just a shade under 300. But there's a chunk of this season where Milam was hitting below 250, but defensively he was elite. So you at least have that. Wachs is a fascinating guy because he profiles the same as Derek Curiel. Curiel 6'2", 190. Wachs 6'2". I think they have him at 192 or something like that. Maybe Curiel's 192 and they have Wachs at 190. Physically, they look the same. Now remember, Curiel sat in the studio and told us that he broke his ankle in November, and when he did, he lost like 15 pounds. But Wachs is a guy, which is the quintessential example of projecting, how scouts project a player based on the ability. Goes to Tulane as a freshman, hits 350, hits 337, I think, as a freshman, and hits 2 homers. Comes back as a sophomore, hits 330 again, 9 homers. Now, can 2 go to 9, go to 12 to 15? Okay. Well, if this guy with great speed, great bat-to-ball skills, has shown for 2 seasons in college he can hit for average, if the power continues to develop, and this is your leadoff guy who maybe can give you 12 to 15 homers in a lineup that also is going to feature Milam, power from both sides, Bino Waters, Cerna, Aaron Beatty. Is Braun the 7th best power bat on the team next year? I mean, maybe. It's just, you can see how, Cade Kurland hit 17 as a freshman at Florida. So you can see how Jay has built this lineup. Now, the question everyone is going to ask, and you're right to ask, is, Matt, that's great. But offense wasn't really the problem this year. You're right, by the way. It's 6 guys in the everyday lineup that hit over 300. Offense wasn't. There were times. Look, don't get me wrong. There were times. The Oklahoma series, they were anemic offensively. There were times the offense went in the deep freeze, as is wont to happen over a 56-game marathon. There's going to be bad weekends offensively. But over the course of the season, you weren't so anemic offensively that's what cost you. It was your inability to throw the ball over the plate. You were dead last in the conference in staff ERA. So where are the pitchers? Remember what Jay Johnson told our friend Michael Cobble at WBRZ in their interview last week.
What I'm excited about is I think there is plenty of in-house pitcher talent that can and will perform better than they did in this season. And I'm really, really excited about that. I think we have a good pathway to that. I think it's taking each of them individually, the guys in that starter bucket with Kaysen, with William, with Cooper Moore, Marcos Paz. Huge benefit getting him 4 SEC starts as a freshman. I think there's some real positives in All of those guys are going to be better in the 2027 season than they were in the 2026. My job and goal is to support that group better with the type of defense that we played in 2025.
Saying definitively all those guys are going to be better is a mouthful. And you better be right, because as I understand it, they are not looking to add starters. I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. My understanding is Jay just told you, by the way, they're excited about who they have coming back. And the arm talent, the ability is undeniable. Can they improve year to year? They need to, because they're not going to add starters. What they do want to add before in this portal cycle is a couple of more relievers. And I'd really like some impact guys from the left side. You're very likely going to lose Santiago Garcia. They believe he's going to sign. You know you're losing Devin Sheeran. Gavin Guidry sat in the studio and said he's ready to begin his pro career, but would be open to return, but very likely he's going to go. When you look at the lefties you have back, Cooper Williams, you hope takes a step. Lockenmeyer, Plog, you got a couple of guys there. But would love, situational lefty. Would love to see Cooper Williams maybe take the step and push for a starter spot. We'll see. But they're going to go look for a couple of arms to fortify this bullpen and this staff. But they are not looking for plug-and-play starting pitching. They believe they have it on this roster. They've got the arm talent. That's undeniable. But they got to pitch better than they did this year. But with what they've done defensively and the bats they brought in, this is going to be an incredibly impressive lineup for the Tigers in 2027. Can the pitching match it? If it does, then Tigers should be playing well into June. And instead of us sitting here talking about the portal and watching Texas and Alabama in the bottom of the eighth. Hopefully we'll be watching the Tigers in Omaha next year. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Big shout out to our friends over at South Point Volkswagen. Man, I was there last week. Traded in my Crossport for a new 2026 Crossport. Got the SEL. Little more technology in the SEL, but find whichever model you want. Got the blacked out rims as well. Didn't even want that. It just came on the model that I got. I love it. I've told you, man, it's all I've driven since I've started endorsing South Point Volkswagen 15 years ago. Style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. I was walking into Guarantee today, and Cindy Ushery, who works with us here, has been here forever. She was pulling into her parking spot, and she was in a brand new black Volkswagen SUV as well. She got a Taos, and she pulled into the spot, and I was like, she gave me a big wave. She went, Matt! So she went by South Point and picked up a Volkswagen as well. I'm telling you, if it's mid-size, compact, full-size family SUV, they got you, sedans, whatever type of vehicle you're looking to drive, our friends over at South Point Volkswagen can help you out. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointbw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. I want to grab a quick break. Our buddy Ari Temkin from Big 12 Radio is going to join us next. The Sorsby thing has taken another weird, sordid turn. We'll get Ari's take on it when we come back next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark Baton Rouge is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Downtown at the corner of 3rd and Convention, the original Louisiana National Bank building. I actually found out recently that Guarantee, when it was Guarantee Income Life Insurance Company, the original office in Baton Rouge was actually one of the floors in that building, which is now Watermark Baton Rouge. So they've taken this beautiful historic building in downtown Baton Rouge, which has been there for 100 years. And they've maintained so much of the historical integrity and added modern amenities. The Gregory is the restaurant there right in the lobby with the open charcoal oven in the lobby, which is amazing. All those beautiful aromas waft through the lobby. The lobby bar is awesome. You can see all the pedestrian foot traffic on 3rd and Convention. And it's an amazing place to host an event or have a staycation. It's downtown on 3rd Street. It's Watermark Baton Rouge.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Well, the NCAA made it very clear they want an answer by the start of football season. August 28th, for all the filings to go through, was what the NCAA asked for. They asked for an expedited ruling. They thought it was unreasonable that the court date wasn't until after the college football playoff last year. So this is, again, a request, but it also symbolizes another headwind toward Brendan Sorsby. Could the NCAA or could the Texas court make a new ruling in late August that puts him in limbo? So again, more headwinds today for Brendan Sorsby and his case to be eligible for the 2026 season.
It's Pete Thamel on SportsCenter. Everybody's suing everybody! Our buddy Ari Temkin, Big 12 Radio, part of Tune In, get him on YouTube as well. Always good enough to hang out with us, talk some Big 12. Hey, man, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing really well. Just got back from Vegas, man. I was out there to watch No Doubt at the Sphere. So, like, you go recharge the batteries, get to have a cool weekend like that, then I'm fired up to come back and talk about lawsuits. And
how was that? Was that a good show?
Amazing, dude. Were you a No Doubt fan? Are you a No Doubt fan?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Bro.
I used to love No Doubt back in the day.
Used to?
I mean, I didn't realize they were still together and touring. I thought there was like a solo career.
Yeah, so they're not touring. They did a residency for 2 months at the Sphere, and Saturday was their last show. So me and my wife and our friends, it was a couple trip. We flew out to Vegas, watched the show at the Sphere, which, Ari, I tell everybody, man, like, I know this is kind of crude, but I'd pay to watch a dog take a crap at the Sphere. It's that amazing. I mean, that venue is just unlike anything else. So if you're in Vegas, it doesn't matter what's playing or showing. Just go to the Sphere. I tell everybody, just go to the Sphere. So, yeah, man, it was amazing. And Gwen Stefani, 56, Ari. She's 56, sounds awesome, and is a smoke show, straight fire. I mean, hard to believe. Even my wife was like, yeah, she looks amazing. It's crazy. So,
yeah, that is crazy. I mean, 56, that's one of those where you have to, like, check the age multiple times. You're like, is that real? Am I really seeing that?
Yep. They formed in 1987 and dropped Tragic Kingdom in 95, which was obviously the giant album that made them internationally known and all that sort of stuff. But hell, dude, 95 has been 30 years. It's been 31 years since Tragic Kingdom dropped. So,
wow.
I know, bro. You want to feel old? Yeah, we've been listening to the Don't Speak and Spiderwebs for 31 years, you know? I know. Okay. Hopefully we have resolution of Brendan Sorsby's case within 31 years. How about that? Transition. Radio guy. Hey, what is the temperature in the Big 12 today? Like, just the finger on the pulse of everyone there right now.
I think it's a lot better today than it was on Friday. You know, I look at this filing by the Big 12 as a huge positive for the conference. You know, it in many ways represents, you know, a significant sea change for what we've seen within the Big 12 within recent history. You know, that is that there was brands at the top that would drive the bus. And no matter what everybody else wanted, it was all about what Texas and Oklahoma wanted. And you can make the same case that Texas Tech is in a similar position because of the money they're spending in football, because of the resources they have, and because, you know, up until this point, they've had a pretty decent ascending brand in the sport. And what Brett Yormark has done from the start is get consensus. And I think what great leaders do is try to earn consensus amongst the group. And, you know, I think what we're seeing right now is exactly that, is even though it might be in the best interest of the Big 12 to, you know, placate to Texas Tech and to have their back in this situation where nobody else in college football does, it's almost as if the Big 12 is this final lifeline, its final boss, if you will, to get in the way of what everybody else doesn't want, and that is for Sorsby to play. So I think there's sort of two elements to this that are really interesting that make this really positive for the Big 12. The first is the fact that the Big 12 is going for consensus here, as Yormark has across the board, and not necessarily playing to, you know, the largest theater with the best brand. And then the other side of that, again, the other part to that too, again, is, you know, that you've got the Big 12 as sort of the last boss here representing for the rest of college football that really doesn't want Brendan Sorsby to play next year.
Hey, Ari, is there anyone or any group of people within the Big 12 that does want Sorsby to play, aside from outside of Texas Tech?
No, that's pretty obvious at this point in time.
Okay.
That the immediate reaction was 15 teams on one side and Texas Tech on the other. And in previous instances, in previous iterations of this conference, and probably truthfully across the board in other conferences too, the one vote on that one side would be far more meaningful than the 15 other on the other side. And that's not the case anymore, which is really good news for the Big 12.
What do you think? It's so that's interesting to hear you say it, that it is sort of 15 against 1. What is, this may sound obvious, Ari, but I'm just curious, you being close to it, like, what is driving this motivation for Texas Tech when so clearly everyone in the college football loving world is pushing, and they're literally, as you just said, the only one pulling?
Right. And not only that, but I mean, last time you had me on, I was sort of on Texas Tech and Sorsby's side. I said that the injunction was going to happen. And I said that, based on how there aren't really any rules right now in college football, I'm okay with it. But from a PR standpoint, they really completely bungled, I would say, these last few weeks. It's really starting with the injunction itself. I thought the Texas Tech team did a really good job from a PR standpoint up until the injunction was announced. And then instead of getting out in front of it to try to control the narrative, they sort of were reactionary, which led to that video being released last week, which I thought did them absolutely no favors. Had they done that, and not exactly in that capacity, but had they released some of the statements that were said in that, like the sentiment, had that been the initial, it might have been totally different. And then you, of course, have Joey McGuire going in front of the Texas Tech fans in Houston at the Touchdown Club saying it's not like it was murder or sexual assault, which, I think they should have been united in saying, we've got to go in on the addiction piece. Don't go anywhere else in terms of making excuses or say anything else. They're taking on far too many arguments and trying, it's one of those things where it's like, the more you try to explain, the guiltier you look. And that's where they're at right now. So, why? It's a great question. There's probably from the vantage point of Cody Campbell, there's some hubris involved here. I'm sure if you asked, Lawrence Skubanek, the president, or Kirby Hocutt, the athletic director, they would tell you the addiction part and supporting him are the impetus for it. But ultimately, we know what this is. The Texas Tech has aspirations to win college football playoff games. They were really good last year, winning the Big 12. They want to go back-to-back, and they want to go further in the playoff than they did last year. And they think Sorsby is the key to doing that. And they're too late now in the process to try to replace Sorsby. So they're going to ride with the hot hand as much as they possibly can, even if it alienates them from the rest of the college football world.
It's like that thing, you tell yourself a lie enough times, you begin to believe it. It kind of feels like that's where the Texas Tech leadership is right now, which, I get it, right? I mean, it's like you just said very eloquently. I mean, you got to win football games, and he gives them the best shot, but at what cost is huge. Let me ask you a hypothetical. If Brendan Sorsby doesn't play this year, let's say the Big 12's lawsuit or whatever, and then he can't play, what does that mean for Tech and, by extension, the Big 12 as a whole?
It's a great question. I think ultimately Tech has done probably some damage to the relationship, not just with the other members of the Big 12, but with the Big 12 itself. But I would give a ton of credit to Brett Yormark, because we've never seen under Brett Yormark this much dissension in the ranks. Everything that's been public with the Big 12 has been a united front, has been a consensus. But that's not always the case, right? We just hear about it as a consensus, but there is some infighting that occurs, and I think Yormark has done a good job to sort of manage that, especially manage it from the public space. And so, look, I mean, this is a much harder lift because it's extremely public. It's extremely, there's some pretty hard feelings involved. So it's not like some of these other, issues that may have caused some, dissension amongst the Big 12 members. But he still was able to do it. And I think I'll give Yormark credit for his ability to create consensus where there, doesn't appear to be one. And I think in this case, it's obviously gone so far to a point to where you've got to at some point concede something if you're Texas Tech. And then not only that, but you've got to concede something from a relationship standpoint in order to save face, because, it's not as if they're just alienating themselves right now from the Big 12 and they've got all these opportunities to go to the SEC or to go to the Big Ten or the ACC, right? Like, they are persona non grata right now across college sports, and that will carry them. So, even though they may not realize it today, and even though I'm sure there's a lot of hubris on the part of Cody Campbell, like, eventually they'll figure out that, like, they're the stinkiest members on the block and that they've got to figure out how to make sure that they're cleaning themselves where they aren't so stinky. But I think what you just identified, Matt, is probably the most important component of this entire story moving forward for the conference is how do you sort of, re-ingratiate Texas Tech into a situation where they've created a lot of enemies.
Yeah. Last one, Ari, specifically on the field, if Sorsby can't play, who benefits the most from that?
Genuinely, I think it's Texas Tech at this point in time, honestly. Like, if in a world, Matt, where Sorsby plays 10 games, I don't have them winning the Big 12. I think this is far too much to deal with. I think there's way too much from a psyche of the locker room. I think, Sorsby has legitimate concerns about his psyche and, how much can he handle? And, he's lost 11 straight games in November. So has Cincinnati, but that, I'm not going to divorce Sorsby entirely from that, losing all these football games down the stretch of the season. So for me, this is a big part of why I think if you're Joey McGuire, you just cut bait right now and move on. But who benefits from it? Everybody does. I think the Big 12 does. I think college football does. I think Texas Tech does. It feels like it's the only path forward here, given where we are. And again, I think at this point, just the psyche of the locker room. I'm sure there are guys that don't agree with him playing in that locker room. I'm sure there are guys that do, but that creates a really difficult deal to manage in the locker room. So, I think everybody really benefits from it. And I think Tech at this point, for me, you're doing far more damage on the field. Forget about the away the field from the field stuff. Just on the field, I feel like you're doing way too much damage on the field right now to your team to move forward like this. That
is a really interesting perspective. Lot to unpack as this continues to evolve. Ari Temkin, Big 12 Radio. Tune in, YouTube, get him on Twitter or X at Ari Sports, ARI Sports, if you want to give him a follow. We always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for squeezing us in as always.
You're the best. It's going to be well, man. Take care.
All right, bud. We'll see you soon. That's Ari Temkin. That's after further review. We are brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, and LSU. Together we roar. And yes, when LSU was looking for a championship health partner, they chose Our Lady of the Lake when the physicians that take care of LSU student athletes, but also the students on campus at the Student Center. Our Lady of the Lake has that contract. And maybe it's your primary care. My primary care physician, as I tell you all the time, is Dr. Curtis Chastain at the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Clinic. And it's been part of my health journey, being transformative and being proactive, going to the doctor, having my annual with Dr. Chastain every year. They also offer pediatrics. We take Drew to the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, a world-class standalone children's hospital right here in Baton Rouge. Cancer, heart, stroke, whatever care you may need, you don't have to leave home to get world-class care. You can get it right here at the lake. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together we roar. Learn more at ololrmc.com/LSU, ololrmc.com/LSU. That was an really interesting point Ari made there. Let me break so I can stay on time. I want to follow, because I do have a follow-up, because I asked him twice in two different ways who benefits the most from Sorsby not being there. I kept trying to get him to give me another team in the Big 12 that if Texas Tech is not there would benefit. And he kept going back to saying, no, Texas Tech would be better without Sorsby. I want to react to that when we come back. And the weirdest juxtaposition in all of sports is taking place right now. We'll explain when we come back at AFR.
AFR.
Rev Fiber, R-E-V, fiber.com, revfiber.com, revfiber.com. I want you to go to that website. In particular, look, homeowners, business owners, revfiber.com. If you're not happy with your internet service provider, it's time to switch. I was with a different internet service provider for the last 10 years until we moved, when we moved into our current home. And then Rev came into our neighborhood, laid fiber a few months ago, and we immediately switched. Over at Parrish Construction and Roofing, we are a Rev Fiber customer at Parrish. So actually, look, there's the spot right there. If you're watching, that's Terrio did the Rev commercial and all. They shot it at our Parrish office. So I'm not joking. We are Rev customers. At Guarantee, we are Rev customers. It's better customer service. It's an all-fiber network. It's lightning-fast internet speeds. It's security, automation, phones, cable, all of it. Rev Fiber. Do business with a great local business. RevFiber.com. RevFiber.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
Fox, 5 seconds remaining. Fox to Wemby. Wemby tries a three, puts it up, off the mark. Anunoby the rebound. It's over. It's over. Knick fans, this is not a dream. Your long, long wait has ended. Go ahead and cry. After 53 years, the Knicks are finally NBA champions once again.
Call on ESPN. Knicks, for the first time since 1973, are NBA champs. I'm not breaking down the finals. You've got plenty of that on all the national platforms. When this thing started, I don't really have a rooting interest. I don't really care about the Knicks. I don't like the Spurs. They're in the same division as the Pelicans. I have two observations. Number one is my sole rooting interest in the NBA Finals was Josh Hart and Jose Alvarado. They were great players with the Pelicans. They embraced the city. They were great ambassadors for the franchise, for the city, for the region. I feel very, very good for both of them winning an NBA championship. As a matter of fact, this was Josh Hart in the postgame.
Man, this is the best feeling, man. We worked so hard for this. I give glory to God. Everyone was doubted at some point. This team was doubted at some point. And all we focused on is the next game. All we focused on is those guys in the locker room. And people don't understand, we don't really talk about it, but the weight of that jersey, the expectations, the pressure of that jersey. And I can say today, right now, is the lightest it's ever felt. And all glory to God, man.
Really cool, man. Josh Hart was a great Pelican, and really feel good for him getting that done. And Jose Alvarado, of course. The other, I mentioned there was two things. One was in my sole rooting interest were those two guys, the former Pels, Alvarado and Josh Hart. The other that I thought was fascinating is this means now 8 consecutive years in the NBA where you've had a different champion. You've not had a repeat champion in not only not consecutive, but in any of those 8 years. Dating back to 2019 with Toronto, you went Raptors, then the Lakers won the fake championship in the bubble, but LeBron will claim it and call himself the king. But then you went Bucks, Warriors, Nuggets, Celtics, Thunder, and now Knicks. So just math, sometime in the next 2 decades, the Pelicans should win the NBA championship. Doesn't that math? Yeah?
That is, in fact, how mathematics works, yes.
So, I look for trends, and this tells me that we just got to keep holding on because our time is coming.
It is.
Here.
Yeah. No, and look, this could be soon. You got a new coach, got a lot of talent. You're seeing former Pelicans leave and go win. So it's like you don't have good players.
Pelicans stink. Never winning anything. But there's a point in 2005, when the Saints are playing home games in New York, Tiger Stadium, San Antonio, you told me in 2005 the Saints are going to win a Super Bowl, I'd have punched you in the face. Closed fist, punched you in the face. That's what I would have done to you.
It's understandable.
And they made the right hire, and they got the right player, and they went on and won. So I don't know that they have the right hire right now in Joe Dumars as the vice president of basketball operations. I hope they made the right hire, their head coach. I really hope they nail their top 10 draft pick this year, Muse. That's what I'm hoping for.
Hey, look, man. Look.
What? They were so bad. They have to have a top 10 pick, right?
They don't, though.
Wait, what do you mean they don't have a top 10 pick?
It wasn't protected, and they tried it.
Yeah. So they don't have a top 10 draft pick.
They don't have a first round pick.
Actually. Oh, not a first round
not
at
even,
all?
Yeah, no. They're not going to pick in the first round.
Yeah. See, that's what happens when you're a bad organization.
Yeah.
So, but look, those rookies looked really good this year. There was a lot of times that I was sitting on my patio, having a whiskey, a cigar, watching the Pels Sunday night against Sacramento, and there's Joel Vanile on the call. And I just felt like I was the only human alive watching the Pelicans. Yeah. I might have been.
One of them.
Might have been. But tell us to every young person who I run across the state of Louisiana who's a lifelong Alabama fan, air quotes. It's all about the climb. The destination feels better because of the journey. So because the Pelicans stink, when they finally get there, like the Saints, it's going to feel that much better. Like I'm sure for Knicks fans today, after waiting 53 years, it feels that much better. But I probably would rather like go on a dynastic run like the Patriots, where you win six Super Bowls or Golden State or something. Yeah, like I would rather that.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't?
That'd be way better. I'd rather that be better. We're brought to you by Rouse's, official supermarket of your New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Hey, I remind you all the time about the hot bar. You can go make your groceries at Rouse's. I mean, they got everything you need, and they do a great job of sourcing locally and supporting great local farmers and fishermen, and that they're awesome. But if you're looking for food, lunch or dinner, any night of the week, you can always get by Rouse's. The hot bar is awesome. And if you go to their social media, Facebook or Instagram, they'll put up the menu for the hot bar so you can see what they have on a given week, day by day. They have the hot and boiled kiosk as well. You want boiled shrimp, boiled crawfish while they're in season. We tell you about that all the time as well. Grab and go sushi, $5 sushi every Tuesday. Maybe you want something from the butcher or something from the seafood market to throw on the grill. You can always do that and get on by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. I mentioned Music and Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 here in a smidge. Trades Green had a camp this weekend, spoke to Jacques Doucet. Let's hear a little bit of what Trades had to say. And a fascinating piece of data from CBS Sports. They went deep. This is statistical, okay? So this isn't just some random list. They went deep dive into returning offensive production metrics and what that may mean as far as projecting offense for college football in 2026. I'm gonna make it make sense here in about 16 minutes, but you're gonna want to hear that. I did say this is right now we have the greatest juxtaposition in sports. The Stanley Cup Finals ended last night. Congrats to the Carolina Hurricanes, which won the Stanley Cup.
What a deserving Stanley Cup champion the Carolina Hurricanes are. One of the best teams in the regular season and a brilliant playoff performance.
Okay, that's it. That's fine. Muse, as you and I determined a week ago that if we had to name 10 active hockey players to save our lives, we'd be dead.
Yes, I'm dead.
You'd be dead, I'd be dead. Paul, would you be alive? Could you name 10 active hockey players?
Before the NHL playoffs, probably not. No, definitely not.
Well, today. Did you watch the playoffs?
I did. I watched
he was invested.
He's our shot.
Yeah.
By the way, good for you, Paulie. That's great. I couldn't. Now, when I was a kid and I'd watch SportsCenter on loop, 5 times a day, and I was watching like Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr and Eric Lindros and Wayne Gretzky, and I could do that all day long. Mike Modano, cameo in the Mighty Ducks.
I think you just got 10 right there.
I'm like halfway there. Yeah. But again, that era, I could do it. Now I got in a shot. I remember there was a guy named TJ Oshie who played for Team USA, and I had a big moment in a loss in the Olympics or something like that. But anyway, Alex Ovechkin plays now.
Ovi, yeah.
Yep, him. And then Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, he's still playing.
Got that. Ray Borg. Ray Borg.
I don't know who that is.
Avalanche. It was a big deal when the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. Mark Messier won with New York back in '95. Again, that was my era, my SportsCenter era. But anyway, I've said this often. The greatest juxtaposition in sports is the NHL and the World Cup.
Okay, I'm following you.
All right. The World Cup is the greatest sporting event in the world. Okay? Not my favorite. I'm not saying it's the most popular in the United States of America. I'm saying the World Cup is the most famous event in the world, right? Is that fair? Sporting event in the world.
I agree, yes.
I mean, it's internationally the most popular event, okay? However, the most popular event in the world has the crappiest trophy imaginable. Look, I mean, this little thing is like about the size of my knee, and it sucks. I don't. It's like it's like a ball on a tee. It's like if you were to take a golf ball, put it on a tee, make the tee a little bit fatter, and then make it, and then just you do the thing where you're expanding a picture. You grab the corner and expand it up. Like that's what the World Cup trophy is. It's crap, objectively. Like this is a crappy little trophy. Yes?
I mean, I don't feel as strongly about you, but it's not the best. But I mean, I think it's fine.
It's the greatest sporting event in the world, and it's got this as a trophy.
Yeah. You know what the problem is?
The trophy doesn't match the event.
There's actually not even a cup on it.
By contrast, the NHL Finals, the Stanley Cup playoffs, has the greatest trophy in sports. The trophy's as big as a human. And everybody that's ever won it, your name gets engraved on it. People get to take it for a day with them. They get to like drink out of it, put their baby in it and take pictures. Like the Stanley Cup, Lord Stanley's Cup is the greatest trophy in sports. And nobody watches the Stanley Cup playoffs. I was looking at the numbers today. It's like 3 to 5 million people. There's as many people who watch College World Series as watch Stanley Cup. Yeah. It's just not a thing here or anywhere really, except like Canada and maybe Minnesota. But that's about it. It's the greatest juxtaposition in sports. Stanley Cup Finals. I get people like, oh, it's the greatest postseason. Then why does nobody watch? The Stanley Cup, the trophy is amazing. Nobody watches the postseason. World Cup, greatest event ever, crappiest trophy in sports. I got to get a break at AFR.
AFR.
If I had the Stanley Cup, I would take it to Clegg's, and I'd buy some flowers and some dirt, and I'd plant it at the... You think I could do that? I could do that, right? I mean, I get it for a day.
I was going to say, it's your day to have it, yeah.
Your day. I mean, there's probably people who put it in their bed. They drink, they pour champagne and drink out of it. Why couldn't I put a little soil and some dippledinas in there? Some purple and gold ones, and then some like one side purple and gold, one side black and gold. I think that'd be great. That's what I would do with Lord Stanley's Cup if I had it for a day. I'd take it to Clegg's. Use it as my own little planter, my own little patio pot. Would that be a one of one? I don't think anybody's done that ever, huh?
Yeah, no, that'd probably just be you. Yeah.
That's what I would try to do. Like, what could I do with the Stanley Cup that nobody else has done? I would take the Stanley Cup to Clegg's, buy some soil, some flowers, and I plant flowers in the top of it and let it sit like on my back patio for a day. Let's start the petition. Buy local shop, local Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Revenue Bauer number 2. By the way, Amazea Siale, offensive lineman out of Hawaii, committed to LSU earlier today. We are waiting here in minutes for an announcement from Terrence Smith, who was set to announce 7 minutes ago at 4:45 Central. It's Auburn, LSU, Rutgers, and Tennessee. I think LSU feels really good about where they are for Terrence Smith. So when that announcement comes, we'll pass it along to you. Right now, Musso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, let's start in Double-A with Cade Anderson, because over the weekend, he spun just another gem. 6 2/3 shutout, 3 hits in walking body, punched out 6. He's now 6-0 on the season in Double-A with a 1.13 ERA.
What?
He's making a mockery out of it. It can't be long for Cade Anderson with the All-Star break coming next month before he's probably up in the show with Seattle. Paul Skeens, 6 innings, 2 earned, walked 1, punched out 10. Did awesome. Pirates lost 4-2. Remember when they were scoring runs for him earlier in the year? That's over with. Dylan Cruz went 1 for 5 with a double for the Nats on Sunday. Drove in a run as well with the double and came around to score. It was his second double of the year. RBI total now up to 10. Excuse me. Alex Bregman turned in a 2 for 4 effort for the Cubbies. Both of those were singles. They lost 5-1. Our guy Hunter Fiducia, 1 for 4. Drove in a run, came around to score as well. He's hitting .250, been a really solid year. And then Angel Reese, she had a double-double, 15 and 17. That's Tigers and Pros.
Presented by the Williamson Eye Center. Want to see 2020? Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. My buddy Dr. Blake Williamson will take great care of you, just like he did for me. It was actually interesting. I got to test my my superhuman vision yesterday. We're at the airport, landed in New Orleans. They told us we'd be like at baggage claim carousel number 5. We're there, and nothing was happening. And so I looked across to a different carousel, and I could read the screen from, 60 feet away, 50, whatever, where the little small print. I know, look, New Orleans is there at carousel 6 now. So we walked over. I'm telling you, want to see 2020? You can do it. 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Terrence Smith they're literally going to him right now. He's set to make his announcement. It's on the CBS College Sports YouTube channel. So this will happen while we're here in the top of the hour break, and we'll come back after the top of the hour and see if LSU landed another offensive line commitment. Say AFR.
AFR.
PSA, courtesy of Parrish Construction and Roofing. If you haven't heard yet, LDI, the Louisiana Department of Insurance, has opened up and expanded its fortified roof program. So an additional 3,000 Louisiana homeowners will be awarded a grant up to $10,000 to install a fortified roof at your home. If you go to our website, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, you'll see the blue bar at the top of the homepage. That link will take you directly to the LDI website. Again, this is the Louisiana Department of Insurance that's doing this. But Parrish is a certified fortified roofing contractor. We are certified to install fortified roofs. So we'd love to help you out. But go apply at the Louisiana Department of Insurance to get into that lottery to be one of 3,000 Louisiana residents to win a grant up to $10,000 to install a fortified roof. And we tell you all the time, roof repairs, replacements, commercial, residential, gutter, soft wash, we do it all. Parishbuilt.com. Parishbuilt.com. Parishbuilt.com.